Yo, what's going on, man? It's Zupa, Curvy Joseph, man. Hey, you listening to the Honolulu Blues. You hear me?
It's the Honolulu Blues, and we back for another episode. This is just me and Julius hanging out today. Adam is out getting breakfast. Hopefully, he's getting some good pancakes and waffles. You know what? When it comes to breakfast, are you a sweet guy or a salty, savory type of guy?
I'm kind of a mixture, bro, because I do love like the salty bacon, scrambled eggs, but I also love my waffles, pancakes, sweet syrup, sausages, maple syrup sausages. It's like a mix for me. It's a mix.
There's nothing wrong with that. See, I always find myself super savory. I want like corned beef hash, sausage gravy biscuits, sausage eggs,
Oh,
hash
yeah, yeah,
browns. I love maple syrup. I love sweets, but when I want sweet breakfast, that's my like midnight snack. Give me pancakes and waffles and cereal at midnight before bed. Really carve out my teeth and some cavities, but then wake up and I want nothing but savory. Speaking of savory, it was a savory Detroit Tigers game until it got a little salty, and then it went bye-bye. The season was crazy. We had a run like none other than to start the season. Pretty much for the 3/4 of the season, we were one of, if not the best team in the MLB, along with the AL. Hit a really bad strike. Just injuries, Jackson Jobe injury, Reese Olson injury really hurt us in the pitching rotation area. Along with that, the trade deadline didn't really produce a lot of people that really helped us. I mean, it did add guys like Kyle Finnegan, who was extremely important to us in our bullpen down the stretch and in the playoffs. But adding guys like Charlie Morton, just Montero, like none of these guys really did much for us. Ultimately, we get into the playoffs. We didn't win the division, but we beat the Guardians. That was like the boogeyman for the Tigers, and it was very nice to have that win, that series win. Then we go to Seattle. There was a chance. We get to game 5. It goes 16 innings. It was one of the craziest games I've ever watched. I was so tired by the end of it. We end up losing. It is what it is. Tommy Kahnle cannot get the job done in the 16th. We had Jack Flaherty pitch a couple of innings of relief. Like, it was a crazy game. Kudos to Seattle. We tipped our hat to them. Hopefully we get our revenge against them next year. But they're going on to Toronto. We are going on to Cancun. So, Julius, after that long explanation, just, I don't know, tell me kind of just your thoughts on the Tigers season, the abrupt ending, but overall the 2025 Detroit Tigers.
Well, Nick, I appreciate your very sensible eulogy on this Detroit Tigers season, which started off bamtastic. I mean,
Yes.
even to the apex of early July when we got together and watched them sweep the Rays in early July. It was just amazing times. Best team in the league. They were headed for like 110 wins. And then it all just kind of went away at the second half of the summer. And honestly, it's hard to say it wasn't a fluke to begin with. I do think that this is that was a talented baseball team. Their pitching was very good. Once we put Tommy Kahnle in, I knew it was over because he was our worst relief pitcher. And you just know once you're down to him, it's not gonna last. Like
I think there was a reason that we had Jack Flaherty pitch 2 relief.
For sure. We did everything we could.
Yeah.
AJ Hinch did everything he could to allow our best hitters who were having a rough game to finally deliver for us in the later innings. It almost happened a couple times, but almost don't count.
Mm-mm.
And the Lion and the Tigers, blasphemy. The Tigers leave more men on base. The Lions don't leave no guys on base. The
Hell no.
Tigers leave more men on base than any playoff team in recent history. So it came back to bite us. But I will remember the good times, like I started off this with, and I appreciate your sensible eulogy, your sensible outlook to the team, because the saltiness prevails.
It really does. And you know what? It kind of bothered me a little bit throughout the saltiness of like I don't think a lot of Tigers fans really watch baseball. I hate to say that. But like
It's true.
in my opinion, yeah, we left a lot of runners on. We could have been better. We could have done more to win the series. We could have done more to finish number one in the AL. But ultimately, when it comes to October baseball, you want guys on base. We did what we were supposed to do.
Yep.
Damn near every single inning getting someone on base, and almost every time getting someone in scoring position. And people, well, yeah, we didn't score them, so we suck. Well, no, we outscored the Mariners in this series. If you think we suck, the Mariners sucked even worse. They just happened to get that last run. The Tigers didn't play extremely awful, in my opinion, in this series. We just didn't get those clutch hits. Now, yes, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson need to be better in the middle of the lineup. That is a must. That I am not going to try to sugarcoat anything around it. But the fact of the matter, getting bases loaded every single inning and not being able to score someone, you have much better odds to win the game than any team that has no one on and is just banking on hitting a home run. Yes, we didn't score, we didn't win, but to me, this was not an all-out, like, disgusting, experience watching the Detroit Tigers in the playoffs. This is October baseball. You are not going to win games 26 to 24. This isn't beer league slow pitch softball. Like, get used. If the Tigers are going to be a perennial playoff team, and you weren't old enough to watch the 2010s when we were doing this, then get used to this, because this is playoff baseball. It's going to happen. You're going to leave a lot of men on base. Yes, we needed to score more runs. That's okay. Next year, hopefully we do it. In my opinion, too, like you said, this was kind of an overachievement for this Detroit Tigers team. You didn't leave last year after going 38-11 to finish the season and barely making the playoffs and beating Houston, but losing to Cleveland. Like, you didn't leave last season thinking, well, this is the best team in Major League Baseball. Like, we're absolutely going to be the best team throughout 5 months of baseball next year. You came into this season hoping that we won the division, hoping that we finished above 500, and hoping that these guys like Reese Olson and Jackson Jobe didn't just fall off a cliff or anything like that, or just suck. We were very good. I thought we over-exceeded expectations all year, and then because of that, we set these expectations as fans. We set these expectations of World Series or bust. Well, that was never the idea coming into the season. This is like Detroit Lions in 2024. We finished 2020. This is like Detroit Lions in 2023. We finished 2022 not making the playoffs, but beating a good Green Bay team and knocking them out of the playoffs. And it almost felt just like the end of the Tigers season last year. I can't believe we did it. We started 1-6. The Lions finished 9-8, an improbable end to the year. Next year, we're not going to win the Super Bowl, but we should have a good team. And the Lions ended up exceeding expectations, getting to NFC Championship game that year. And it wasn't until this year did we really think, or last year, it was Super Bowl or bust. That's where I think the Tigers are. This year was just an over-exceeding year. It was awesome. It was a heartbreak at the end, but it was fun. Next year is the year, in my opinion. Now you're going to have Olsen. You should still have Flaherty. You will have Skubal for one more year, at least, bare minimum. You will have Olsen. You'll have Mize still. And then we'll see Joe probably at the end of the year, maybe, if anything. But if anything, Troy Melton showed that he could be a starting pitcher. Ton of good things to come out of this season.
Kevin McCongle, the prospect hoarding, bro. Like, that's what we got. That's the bright side. We didn't trade away all our prospects just to lose. So we still best farm system in baseball coming up.
Yeah, exactly. Max Clark, Kevin McGonigal, we're going to be just fine moving forward. Speaking of just fine, before we get to our Lions, I know we're 10 minutes in. You guys are like, this is the Lions show. Let's look at Julius's hat. They got their first win of the year last year. Detroit Red Wings are back and looked brutal in game one, losing 5-1. 'Twas a bad game. Didn't even watch yesterday's game. Very big family day. So I was like, I don't really care. In Toronto at home, I don't know if we're going to win this game. And we did 6-3. It was a close game. Patrick Kane had a great day. Shout out the Wings. The Pistons start in 10 days. Their first regular season game is in 10 days from today. We get Detroit sports back. October in the D is in full force. Just real quick before we get to the Lions, I want to hear your prediction, not for the Red Wings. I know you're wearing a Red Wings hat, but I think all of us are just hoping that we make the playoffs. No predictions needed for the Red Wings. The Stones, we expect playoffs, and I want to know what – if you have a standing or if you have a record prediction, that'd be great to hear it, but at least a seeding prediction of where you're hoping or expecting or thinking the Pistons will land this year.
Well, we're expecting a healthy roster, a healthy Jaden Ivey with the new veteran additions, Duncan Robinson, even the new rookie, Chaz Lanier. I think our shooting is going to be better around Cade. I think Jalen Duren takes another step. Isaiah Stewart takes another step. Ron Holland could be the breakout of the year. Based on all this and a healthy Ivy, I'm expecting a top 3 battle in the East for the Pistons, a top 3 seed. They're going to be in there with Cleveland and whoever else. The East is not that strong this year. Boston is going to be down. Milwaukee is going to be down. We can do this. Go Pistons.
Yeah, I definitely see the East showing us Boston, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Detroit. Those are my top 4 teams. Milwaukee adding Miles I was about to say Myles Garrett. That's not the right guy. Miles Turner from the Pacers, I think that's big with Giannis. Boston, obviously no Tatum, but they're still a very good team. Cleveland, obviously we know they're a good team. They didn't really lose anyone. They just kind of suck when it comes to playoffs, and we hate Cleveland. And then Detroit. I made a prediction. This was a September 26th prediction with my buddies. So, almost coming up on a month now, 3 weeks ago. I
got 55 wins.
Wait, how many?
55.
I'm going 52 wins, 52-30, number 2 seed in the East. I think 52 wins will get you the number 2 seed in the East. I'm not going to try to predict playoffs, but I do truly believe that oh my God, not the Lions, not the Tigers, not the Red Wings, the Pistons can finish number 2 in the East this year. So I'm very excited to see them. Like you said, healthy Jaden Ivey, bunch of new acquisitions. Cade Cunningham, MVP season upcoming. He looked great in the first preseason game, so I'm very excited for them. But now, screw all that. Let's get to our Detroit Lions. Dun, 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 dun. I don't have my flag here, so I'm just going to make it a song. Detroit Lions. If I did have a flag, Julius, you might want to turn that upside down because we have injuries galore, brother. A massive amount of injuries happening here. We are already without DJ Reed, who we know was on IR, and now without number 2 cornerback Terrion Arnold, who, despite whatever you think of him, was better than anyone else because if you watch that Bengals game, as soon as he went out of the game, old Jake Browning started to look pretty good. So no Arnold, no DJ Reed. Questionable Kirby Joseph, probably expect him to play. Questionable Brian Branch. What if we're out of these 4 secondary players? Like, we are sending out there Lauren Strickland, Avante Maddox. Actually, he's questionable too. He might not even play. Rocky Asin. Like, whoo boy, what do you think our secondary? How do you think our secondary is going to be able to hold up against, I would say, a revengeful Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, we all know Dan Campbell mantra, next man up, Kelvin Shepherd mantra, next man up. I expect that to continue and to motivate this depleted Lions secondary. However, look for the blitzes to pick up. Look for Anzalone and the linebackers, Derek Barnes, to get in there, try to get in the passing lanes, big time pass rush because it's an issue. The secondary is an issue. We can get picked on by pretty much any team with any sort of talent at wide receiver. And this includes the Chiefs. We have Xavier Worthy. I mean, it don't even matter. Pat Mahomes, we all know, can make silver out of gold. I'm a gold out of silver, should they say. It doesn't really matter. Travis Kelce is going to be open a ton. He's those quick pops. It's an issue. It's an issue, and I'm scared. So that's the reason. My expectations for this Lions defense until this secondary injury thing is looking better, which is not anytime soon, is a lot low. I'm not expecting us to just shut down the Chiefs and be one. I hope we could still generate turnovers, because that's kind of been what's been pushing us to these blowouts where our offense is still juggernaut. Our defense is going to turn the ball over, give the offense more tries. Next thing you know, we up 3 scores. That's the best you can hope for with this kind of injury-riddled secondary.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up like the turnovers. That's why I think it's so big on having Kirby and Branch play. And I was just fine, not just fine, but I was coping and accepting that we were going to be without DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold this game, and that Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy were going to probably get some good separation against our cornerbacks, but we have the best safety duo in the league that can play over top of these guys and really help out the depth pieces that we have. Now, if we lose those two, that's brutal. Again, I think what it looks like already, though, is that Kirby Joseph, Taylor Decker are both going to be playing today. Do not quote me on this. This is just something that I saw through the internet through this morning. But it looks like if I had to put $1 million down, I'd be guessing that Kirby Joseph and Taylor Decker both play. Taylor Decker is not Brian Branch. Taylor Decker is not going to be playing safety. I do not think Dan Campbell is going to be able to go play safety, and I doubt they give me the call to fly out to Kansas City and play safety for him. So if we are without Brian Branch, the turnovers are going to be really risky, in my opinion. That is huge. Whoever wins that turnover battle probably will ultimately win this game. Luckily for us, Jared Goff is very good at keeping the turnovers limited on the offensive side. We just need to keep the ball wrapped up and for any fumbles. Defensively, it is going to be a struggle. Pat Mahomes, I think getting Xavier Worthy back helps the Kansas City Chiefs a lot on offense. And I think losing to Jacksonville last week, and I think losing to Detroit week 1 on the banner night in 2023 is going to motivate the Chiefs to play as good as they can against us this year. With that, I don't see many lost possessions from the Chiefs, which means the Lions need to match that. I am very nervous for Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs versus our defense. I am not sure that our secondary depth pieces are going to be able to withstand the onslaught from the Chiefs. But like you said, if there was any coach and any coordinator that would be able to get these guys' minds right, it is the next man up style of Dan Campbell, Calvin Shepard. So we'll get to our predictions. I'm not predicting a Chiefs win, that's for sure. But I will say my biggest favorite bet of the day that we'll get to, and I'll tease a little bit here, is the over, because I'm expecting both teams to score a lot of points. I don't think the Chiefs defense is that good. We saw Trevor Lawrence do very well against them. Now, their stats, the Chiefs' stats look pretty good on defense, but I'm not worried. When it comes to the Detroit Lions offense, I don't care about previous stats. You know what I mean? We will just come out and be our team. We will be dominant. But we're going to need the secondary to play big. And for the secondary to play big, like you said, we are going to need huge blitzes, huge pressure from AQM, Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Anzalone, Derek Barnes, DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams. This front seven has to be huge and impactful. Continue to stop the run like we have been all year long. Force Mahomes to throw the ball 40-plus times today. And just out of that, hopefully we can find Kirby somewhere for a pick, win the turnover battle, win the game. But we'll move on from the secondary injuries. I do want to talk a little bit about our offensive line. Again, it does look like Taylor Decker should be playing. But after Giovanni Manu played last week in replacement of Decker and then looked atrocious, maybe one of the worst PFF grades I've ever seen, allowed Jared Goff.
42.
Oh, I couldn't. I almost put it out of my brain. I didn't want to remember the actual number. You know what I mean? Like I saw it and then lost it. It was like I cannot.
It was like Jerry Jacobs level.
That's dude. Get that seatbelt going because he's getting taken for a ride, dude. Which then Jared Goff got taken for a ride. 3 or 4 different hits from his blind side, getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked. And every single time I was just like, please stand up, dude. I cannot have Kyle Allen leading this team this year. Like, I need Jared Goff upright and healthy. I think that pushed Decker to play this week, but I'm just a little like, Kansas City is no slouch. You know what I mean? George Karlaftis is going to be coming from the edge. Chris Jones is be coming right up the middle. It's going to be a battle for our offensive line that includes Taylor Decker coming, back from injury, probably still injured. That includes Tate Ratledge, who is still just learning, 6th game in the NFL this week. Graham Glasgow. How do you like our offensive line versus their defensive line? How do you like this?
You know what? I'm gonna present a hot take live on air. Live on air. Hot take. I think it's time for Hank Fraley and Dan Campbell to come together and make the executive decision that it's finally time to move Penei Sewell to his natural position of left tackle and find another reliable starter at right tackle. And I can say, friend of the show, Dan Skipper would make an excellent choice.
It's true.
I just don't like the idea of this revolving door of an injured Taylor Decker, Dan Skipper, and Giovanni Manu rotating at that left tackle spot. Eventually, one of those blindside hits on Goff is going to be fatal. And then we're going to be sick to our stomachs that we didn't put Penei Sewell on the left side sooner. Yeah. So I hope y'all listen to the show, Dan and Hank. But I think it's time. It's time to move Penei Sewell back to his God-given position.
Interesting take. I bet you're right on the money. I do think that happens at the end of the year, though. We're gonna let Decker. This has got to be Decker's last year, right? His best friend Ragnow just retired. I think Decker's trying so hard, everything in his freaking body to get these Lions at least to a Super Bowl. Obviously, everyone wants to win a Super Bowl. It's like he understands the Detroit craze and
for sure.
And the motivation to win for the city of Detroit. But I think this is his final year. And I just wonder if we do. I wonder if Sewell's natural position is now just right tackle.
You think he's been over there so long that
we don't even bother switching?
No, I don't think so, bro. I think he can. I think he left tackle in high school, college.
Oh, I know.
We put him there before.
Yeah.
I just think it works better than being worried about the blind side of Goff. It's one of the most important things in the offense is protecting this guy from that part of the field. Do you think
so? Or do you think, yes, that's the most important part to keeping Goff?
What is our best chance at that?
If you
put Penei over there and
if you have Sewell at left side and he's doing such a good job that Goff never worries about his back, but has all this pressure coming in his face from the right side, don't you think that's going to force Goff to throw the ball away at a quicker rate than not knowing what's behind him, holding the ball maybe a millisecond later because he knows Sewell's doing such a good job in front of him and getting that ball away right at the exact moment before he gets hit?
Sewell as a right tackle, I think his average grade as a pass blocker is like in the mid-70s. He's not that dominant as a pass blocker. He does just good enough with Jared Goff. He could see it in his face on the right side. Yeah. He holds him just good enough, and Jared Goff knows when to throw it. Okay. I think you can get that kind of pass protection from another person over there and lose a little bit of that dominant right side run blocking, if you would say, and make it work to the point where you ain't got to worry so much on the left side. I just think it's more important on the left side, his talent, Penei Sewell's talents.
Sure. I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
I mean, if Taylor Decker is going to, this we know it's a tough decision, but it's a tough decision.
And that's why it's a spicy take. You prefaced it to start it all out. This is why we love these conversations.
So Skipper isn't going to start today. Decker's going to go.
Sounds like it. Don't quote me on it. Take it with a grain of salt. But from some investigative journalism I've done this morning from some people that I do somewhat trust, it looks like we're gonna see Kirby and Decker playing.
Nice.
But that was it for the injuries for the Lions. Let's real quick talk about the Kansas City Chiefs injuries. No one, not a freaking single person is injured on that team outside of, not even injured, but the only person that's not playing, it seems like, is Rashee Rice, and that's because he's finishing up his last game of his suspension. Thank you, Roger Goodell, for giving him 6 games because a 5-game suspension. Having Rashee Rice with Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown and no Terrion Arnold or DJ Reed would be really tough for the Lions. I probably wouldn't pick the Lions, but they don't have Rice. That's really helpful. It just kind of stinks that the Chiefs are coming in too extremely healthy. But if I would say anything with the Chiefs being extremely healthy, Mike Tirico ain't going to be saying nothing about no asterisks this time, is he? You know?
Possibly with an asterisk.
No. You know what this is? This is the desperation of a 2-3 Kansas City Chiefs team that don't want to be 2-4 and lose to the Lions on national TV at home again. That's all it is. They got injuries. They got some questionables for sure. They got some banged ups, but they don't. Everybody got to play. Everybody got to play.
Everyone got to play. But the big thing here is what you were just kind of mentioning is the 2-3 Chiefs, in my opinion. The way they're going to play, in my opinion, not so much, but very close to do or die. Like, obviously, the Chiefs know that they can lose this game, go to 2-4, and season's not over by any means. Yeah. We've seen Aaron Rodgers come back from 2-6 and still make the playoffs, stuff like that. Like, there's 17 games, it's a long season to go. But Andy Reid's got to find a way to motivate guys, and I think it's hard to motivate adults that have been to the pinnacle the 3 previous years, 1 the pinnacle, 2 of the last 3 years. It's just a lot. It's a lot to continue to get your guys motivated for the little details every week in and week out, and not just motivate them to make the playoffs. Because I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have also spoke on it, where it's just every single year you get this more. Every year that you are successful, the following year you get a little bit more relaxed, a little more lackadaisical about the way you practice, the way you prepare, and all of this stuff. And everyone's always talked about that. I mean, Kobe's talked about it, and Jordan's talked about it. We've seen it from every sports player, but it's true, and it doesn't just go away. I don't care if you're Chris Jones or obviously Travis Kelce has a lot of stuff going on in his life. Mahomes, I think, just had a 3rd kid. Chris Jones is under scrutiny right now for not giving everything he had in the last play against the Jags last week and watching Trevor Lawrence run in for the game-winning touchdown. You also just get tired. Like, playing an extra month of football compared to other teams for the last 3 seasons in a row, if not more, is just a lot of football for these guys. That's a lot going on. It's going to be I think it's hard for Andy Reid to find motivation for his guys right now. I think that's a fair thing to take and say. And on the opposite side, I think it's extremely easy for every other team in the NFL to find motivation against the Chiefs. Like, they have the target market. They are the best team. They may not have won the Super Bowl last year, but they've won it 2 of the last 3 years and been there the last 3 years. They are the best team in the NFL. That is the team. That is the pinnacle. So every team is going into them with this high. That's what the Lions will have, but I think the Chiefs on the flip side will have this newfound sense of urgency to win this game because of their 2-3 record, along with us beating them in their banner hanging moment. And just like how Dan Campbell is finding, in my opinion, Dan Campbell is finding motivation through years ago losses. When we lost to the Bengals 33-8 in 2021, I think that Dan Campbell used that as bulletin board material and motivation for the Lions to go out and beat them this year, even without Joe Burrow. I think us losing to the Ravens extremely bad a few years ago was motivation for us to go beat them this year. The Chiefs, we beat last time. Now, obviously, Dan Campbell will find more motivation, but I think on the flip side, Andy Reid is showing they came into our home when we were hanging up banners and feeling on top of the world, and they beat us. I think that's going to be motivation for them. The last thing I want to bring up for this game in the motivation senses is the refs. Now, obviously, everyone who follows our Twitter knows that we love to complain about refs. It is one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. I was born and raised a ref hater. Being a Lions fan, it just seemed like they would do everything they could to make sure we didn't win. In fact, I just got a Facebook memory of the Seattle Seahawks guy batting the ball out with the ref just watching it like right on the side and like no call. It's just egregious. Whatever it is, what it is. I bet the NFL makes a lot of money off the Chiefs. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Pat Mahomes jerseys. A lot of things bring a lot of money in, I think, for the NFL for Kansas City. And if Kansas City falls to 2-4, and even after goes to maybe 3-6, 3-7, and their season might be done, and all of a sudden Mahomes gets an injury or something like that, it's a lot of money that the NFL is not going to be making in Kansas, out of Kansas City, with Taylor Swift and all that, with her new album dropping and all that. So I'm expecting a full Detroit Lions versus everybody game here. The Chiefs are going to bring it motivationally and urgently, but I think the refs are going to be right in their back pocket. So let's just prepare to yell at the refs. Is that fair to say?
You know what's going to counteract? You know what's going to counteract that referee nemesis that we all love and hate so much?
Yeah.
The Lions faithful are going to travel to Kansas City and take over Arrowhead.
That's true.
And I know it because last time they were there, they did it. And they're going to do it this time. And it's going to be lit. Hopefully. And honestly, I just think Dan Campbell has a little elixir for the refs nowadays. You know, just outscore them. Just outscore them. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a few games where I'm like, the refs are fucking us, but we're still winning. Huh. So yep. I'm hoping that's one of these there.
All right, I needed that. I needed a little calm down on my side. We're gonna be doing a little bit more of a shorter show today. We're not gonna go in the full hour. It's pretty much breaking down Chiefs. We'll get to our keys of victory. We also have predictions, and then me and Julius also have a couple bets that we like that we wanted to bring up. I'll start out. I teased it a little earlier. If you're looking for the Honolulu Blues locks of the day, bets of the day, tag these two together in a quick little parlay, make yourself double money. I'm going with the over. So it was set at 51.5. I think I saw someone say it moved already up to 52.5. I don't really care what it is. Just as long as it's under 60, I'm taking it. I like the idea of moving this total line up to 59.5 and betting 60 points or more. That's plus money right there. I just think with the secondary woes of the Detroit Lions, the Chiefs are going to score points. I bet they score 30 points more. With the Detroit Lions being the Detroit Lions, and like you said, the only elixir for beating the refs is score more, Dan Campbell probably going to score 30 or more points. Like the Chiefs defense is good. It's going to be hard to run on them. It is hard to run on Karl Aftis and Chris Jones. It's also hard to throw on them. They have a good defense, but they're not great. I expect us to be able to move the ball, matriculate down the field, methodically move the ball. I couldn't think of the exact word I wanted to say, but and I bet we score points. I bet both teams get 30 points. It'll come down to who has the ball last. With that, move the over to 59.5 and take that, or just take the easy money at 51.5 over. That is my lock of the day. Julius, what do you say?
My Honolulu Blues bet lock of the day is Jahmyr Gibbs anytime. As we just discussed, the Kansas City Chiefs defense are having quite a few problems of their own. We all know how dominant the Lions' run game has been. Even in the passing game, they target Gibbs so much. He's a PPR giant. Mm-hmm. I think this is at like negative 125. I mean, it's pretty instant. If we're going to do any time for the Lions or the Chiefs, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy to lock in on a parlay along with that over you just described, which I'm guaranteeing happening with a 35-34 final score prediction. Little teaser.
Tease.
But that's my lock of the day right there.
I love it. So if you end up going Detroit Lions over and an anytime touchdown by Jahmyr Gibbs, you are looking at, hold on one second. 51.5 is now almost even money. Jahmyr Gibbs is minus 135 anytime. Put them together for $100. You would check location on your ESPN and betting app, and then you'd figure out how much you'd win. You would bet $100 to win 174. That would be damn near.
That's glorious.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Damn near $200 if you put $100 down. Just looking for a Gibbs touchdown, who has scored 4 of the last 5 games. Every game outside of the opening game against the Packers, where the Lions just didn't look themselves. And then if you're looking for over for the Detroit Lions, that has over 51.5 has hit every single game for the Lions except the opening game against the Packers. So they're running a 4-for-4 streak on both of those. Get in now before the odds go up. Let's talk about keys to victory for the Detroit Lions. Julius, I started the bet, so I'm going to let you start the keys. What is your number one and only, because we're just going to do one key to victory each. We'll have 2 keys to win. What is your key to victory?
My key to victory, I believe, was my key to victory with the Baltimore game, and that is win the turnover battle. Guaranteed win the turnover battle. That's the only way you win. It has to either be 0-0 even, +1 Detroit, +2 Detroit, +3 Detroit. The Lions will win if we win the turnover battle. Do not give Patrick Mahomes the ball for free, and you will win the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. I'll go with another kind of layup, I guess I'll say. Or maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how you look at this game. In my opinion, Patrick Mahomes is going to – if the Chiefs are to win, it will be because Patrick Mahomes had one of the greatest Mahomes days. You know what I mean? Just 360, 5 touchdowns kind of thing, 60 on the ground type of deal. And that's the only way the Chiefs can win. And in my opinion, make them try to win that way. Do what we've been doing and stop the run. That is my key to victory. Do not allow Pacheco or Hunt to find pay dirt. Do not allow either of them to rush for more than 25 yards. If you force Mahomes to throw the ball 55 times, it will remind you, you'll be watching it being reminded of the Detroit Lions and Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, when Ben Johnson knew that Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey were in the Buccaneers' interior defensive line, would not allow us to run the ball. Had Jared Goff throw the ball 55 times, and it turned out to be one of our early losses and one of our only 2 losses on the season. That's because Ben Johnson tried to outcoach himself. I'm going to expect the same from the Kansas City Chiefs. Who's their offensive coordinator? Is it Matt Nagy again?
Yes.
That's what I thought. That's terrible. I'm going to make Matt Nagy try to beat us by throwing the ball 55 times. Because if you make Mahomes do that, yes, there's a chance that he has 5 touchdowns, 360 yards, and beats us. There's a chance of that. Believe me, there's a chance that Chiefs beat us in every universe. You know what I mean? Every multiverse, there's a chance the Chiefs beat us in this game. But if you do that, that gives us, I think, the better odds of a turnover because he's throwing the ball 55 times. Sack, strip sack, interception. And then that just goes right into what Julius was saying. 2 keys play right into each other. If you can force Mahomes to throw the ball a ton, you'll be able to force a turnover. If you force a turnover and win the turnover battle, it's a key to victory. It's a guaranteed win. So, and if you're following Honolulu Blues, you're going to want turnovers and you're going to want Mahomes to throw the ball as much as possible. I want at halftime the Chiefs to ran the ball 3 times. I don't care what the score is. I don't care if they're up 21-0. I want them to have ran the ball 3 times on us, and that is it, because that is how you're going to beat the Chiefs. If they run the ball a combined 35 times on the Detroit Lions, that means we were trailing the whole game. We never had a shot. It never looked like we were going to win this game. The Chiefs didn't care. They just tried to run the ball to run the clock out. And I don't want that on prime time. I have a bunch of buddies coming over. We want to have a good time. So those are your keys to victory. And then I think without further ado, let's just get to our predictions. Prediction time. Let's talk about last week. Julius wasn't even on the show, but still sent his predictions in and then slaughtered us. Just straight slaughtered Adam and I. That's the benefit of picking first. You get to pick a lot of the good players. Let's just remind everyone, heading into last week, Adam and I were both tied at 7 points atop the leaderboard. Julius had 6 points, bringing in the rear. Everyone picked the Lions to win. Everyone got a point. Julius picked a 34-14 win. It ended up being 37-24. He was the closest, the only person to keep the Lions within 30 points. I think Adam had 50 for the Lions. I had 40 for the Lions. Then it looks like Montgomery was the offensive MVP, picked by us, picked by Julius, and then Hutchinson, picked by Julius, also won defensive MVP. So ultimately, Julius got 4 points. Adam and I got 1 point. Though I'm looking at it right now, Julius, we're going to do this live on the air. Sorry, you may not have won the score prediction now that I'm reading this. Can you look to confirm last week's game was 37-24 Lions, right? Can we just get confirmation? We're going to do this on air because of the 400 people watching. You're just going to kind of see this happen live right now. And you're muted, Julius, so let me know what you think.
Am I about to lose a point, dude?
You might. What was the score?
37-24. It was.
Yeah. Okay, so then going back to predictions, you said 34-14. That is 3 points off for the Lions and 10 points off for the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So that's 13 combined points. I said 41, so that's 4 points off for the Lions. 13, that's 11, that's 15. Never mind, you win. Okay, I had to check myself live on air. It was you were 2 points closer for the final score than I was, so you did get that. Going into this week, Julius now has a commanding 10 points on the season. Adam and I both have 8 points on the season. Adam will be going first. He is not on the show, but he sent in his predictions. I'll be going second. Julius will be going third. Whew, had to get all that out real quick. We'll start with Adam. Adam says Detroit Lions will win the game tonight against the Chiefs 31-28. He also took Jahmyr Gibbs to be the offensive MVP and Aiden Hutchinson to take the defensive MVP. Both pretty low-hanging fruit on a weekly basis. That is normally who you get out of the first person to pick in this game. This is the second pick, and the third pick is where we get a little bit interesting and where you try to kind of defy the odds. For me, coming up with the second pick here, I will also take a Detroit Lions victory, 38-31. Detroit Lions win by 7. I'll take St. Brown as the MVP with 2 touchdowns and 100+ yards. And I will take Jack Campbell as the defensive MVP. I'll take another linebacker interception this week, not from Anzalone, however, from Campbell. And I'm going to take some big tackle for losses, maybe a sack, very like Lamar Jackson-esque. If we spy him, I bet Jack Campbell will be doing a lot of that along with Barnes. That could lead to a sack. I'm going to take an interception and a sack from Jack Campbell for my defensive MVP. Julius, you are looking to go in here. Remember, you cannot pick Jahmyr Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown on offense, and you cannot pick Aiden Hutchinson or Jack Campbell on defense. Who do you like?
Agreed, Nick. And I have the Lions winning this game in a complete shootout and a complete gut-wrenching 2-4 send-off to the Chiefs. 34 Chiefs, 35 Lions, 35-34 Lions. Offensive MVP, you guys took the 2 stars themselves. So I'm going to go with none other than, who did I say I was going with? I didn't say Monty. I did not say Monty. Did I text it already? I'm
wondering. I'm not going to tell you even if you did. But
actually, I think I know who I went with. I definitely probably went with Jared Goff. I definitely probably went with Jared Goff as the offensive MVP. And defensive MVP, I went with Brian Branch if he's available. Now, if he's not available.
Nope. You only get to pick one. Oh. So you got to hope that he's available. That's why I didn't pick Kirby.
I got good. I got a good feeling he's going to play.
I still went Jack because I was like, I cannot have a guy not play.
Because I was going to say Branch. If Branch not in, Kirby. Hey, since they're both questionable, you know what I'm saying. But no, I'm going to go Brian Branch. I think he's going to play, and he's been a Chief killer, so I'm going to take that chance picking third. So I got Goff and Branch, and I got the Lions 35-34.
Branch has been a Chiefs killer. If you remember from the last time we played a couple years ago, Brian Branch in his rookie debut picked off Patrick Mahomes to start the second half, took it back to the house. Julius dang near punched a hole in my basement after that play.
I remember it, brother. I remember.
I have never seen Julius more red in the face from that game. Marvin Jones Jr.
My wife has that video too of us like just completely bombing, just sound bombing your house, bro. The whole fucking thing went off.
My entire neighborhood heard us that day. Hopefully, the whole neighborhood hears us again today, tonight, as the Lions will take on the Kansas City Chiefs, 8:20 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night football. It would have been really cool to have them on one screen and the Tigers on the other screen, who would be starting at 8 o'clock tonight, but unfortunately, they are not. So we get Detroit Lions only, 8 p.m. Make sure you get your bets in. Love the predictions. Love everyone watching. We appreciate you and love you, Honolulu Blues. Hate these primetime games. Oh, Julius, how you feel about that? Real quick.
Bro. I don't want to hear it, Michael. Hey, the faithful come through. The faithful come through. I'll be up at 2 o'clock Central European, 2 o'clock a.m. To be as hype as the rest of us watching that game. You can do it, Micah. Wake up.
That's right, Micah. I believe in the Lions. I believe in you. I believe in all of us. Let's go, Lions, and everybody have a great day. Go